Well, we are out on another adventure. So we're out here for a quick 5 to 7 mile hike in, one overnight on the AT trail up by Burkittsville, Maryland. So we're at Gathland State Park. So a lot of monuments around here. All right, so we're really light today. We just have Jamie with me. Parked in this beautiful parking lot. You can't ask for anything better. No need for mothballs here. That's always a huge plus. And hopefully we'll be setting up camp right around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. So should be good times. This was, the site here at Gathland was a Civil War memorial. So we have Cobb's Brigade. So we're close to Antietam, right?
Yes.
And here's a nice set of ruins up there. So the weather's nice. It should get up close to 80 degrees today. It should be 65-ish around for the night. So a little warm to hike in, but it should be, hopefully we'll be in the under canopy for the most of the day, so it won't be too hot. And here's the start of our hike. James, you ready?
Yes, sir.
What are you looking forward to?
Not dying.
It's always a plus. So we started off with a nice little hill. Not a very big one. I'd say maybe 100, 150 feet elevation. Here comes Jamie. He's one tough customer. How we doing? How we doing?
I'm okay.
Don't forget to breathe.
I'm trying.
Breathe in your nose, out your mouth. Hold it for a few seconds.
Stuffed up.
You've been hiking for about an hour and a half.
And we're about 1/8 of a mile in.
We're a little bit further than
I think I can still see the car.
We're further than the car. I know we're further than the car because we climbed that big hill. So it's been nice and shaded. We've run into a lot of people today, so I would venture to say, what, 10, 12 people already?
About. Usually they're groups of 3, so yeah. And one dog.
Yeah, we saw a little poochie, a little pit bull.
Carried its own water.
Had its own pack on, so that was nice. Moxie would have loved it. but it's been pretty much like this since we came up the hill. It's been nice and shady, and a little rocky. And if I recall correctly from the map, there should be a vista or two that we should be able to pop off and see. And when I was looking at the aerial, it looks like there's a rock cliff somewhere, yeah, off to the right somewhere ahead of us, maybe in the next mile or so. But so far it's been nice and fun. We're going slow and steady. Jamie's trying out his new trail runner shoes. And ideally he's getting prepped up for maybe a round 3 of dolly sides. Maybe this time we'll make it to Lion's Head. Doubt it. Dolly sides and Lion's Head with us is absolutely bad luck. So every time we've been, it's been one hell of a rainstorm. The last time we got flooded out really bad, but one day we'll get it. Now this AT trail, well marked. You can see the white blazes all over the place. There's no question about the path. And then from Gathland State Park, I would say, what would you say, Jamie? Less than a quarter of a mile in, there's a cutoff to a site.
Yeah, oh yeah. The one for the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's about 2 miles down.
2 miles down, yeah. So quarter of a mile up if you're interested, and then we think it's about a 2 mile hike to that shelter. So we're headed to, I think it's Rock Run Shelter today. And I was looking at pictures online and it looks like there is a swing there.
Oh yeah, tell me about this.
Yeah, so we should be able to, I mean really, so for me this is going to be luxury. I keep thinking about getting some sort of hammock swing to pack, but at the end of the day I gotta tell you, by the time we get to camp, it's usually set my hammock up and pop my butt down in that and I'm perfectly happy. So our elevation, we're right at 1360 right now. It looks like we're getting ready to drop down a little bit. I'm not sure what we started out at. Jamie, you'll have to remind me to see what our elevation is when we finish this thing.
Didn't you say it was like 800?
Yeah, well,
something. Because we were already in the mountains.
When I turned it on, yeah.
Yeah. And you said we were at like 9 something then.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I think the first time I looked, we were at 1200.
Oh, 1200.
Yeah.
Okay. That was probably when I was trying to catch my breath. You were telling me about that.
Maybe. You never know. So looking at the GPS, I believe we have about a mile and a half to go. I think it's, let's see, what time is it? 12:30. So it's just a little bit after 12:30. So I'm thinking we should be there by 1:30, 2 o'clock at the latest. And Jamie will get to set up in his Blackbird XLC for the first time ever. He'll be testing out I believe he's got a hammock gear underquilt. And what else does he have? Oh yeah, he's got his Cuban fiber tarp, but I don't think we're going to need that. Looks pretty clear. I think I'm going to hang it, but I'm not going to open mine up. So that'll be nice. Have good wind on me all night. So we just passed the shelter just a few minutes ago, and I think that was Bear Run Spring, and we're going to I believe rock run or something like that. But nice and easy hiking. Nice view.
It is a nice view out there. It's a heck of a fall, though.
I wonder what town that is over there. I wonder if that's Burkittsville or something. Or Boonsboro.
Well, Frederick's probably. That might be Middletown or Braddock Heights.
So this is exactly why we backpack. This is the view. Right, White Rocks is where we are. So, a little bit of a haze. Nice pretty town down there. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, it's 2:30. Here comes Jamie strumming down the hill. Big climb down. And we have made it to the shelter where we're going to stay tonight. So, the only thing we need to do now is just head on down this pathway for a little bit. And we're good to go. Not too much further. So according to the pictures, there should be a good water source here. We're hopeful, optimistic. And somebody was saying we ran into the trail. If you go down a little bit further, down this way, there's another historical monument about 15 or 20 minutes out. So might swing out and take a look at that tonight. Not sure, but anyway, shake it. It's been fun. And we've set up camp. So the AT shelter is right down there. And then we are home. Right over here. So I'm here. And Jamie, after his brutal hike, is taking a rest. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm alright.
Feeling like a champ? Feel like you did something?
No, it's
Feel like you did something?
just making sure my back, doesn't stiffen up too much.
Yeah. So, and here's Jamie's setup. So Jamie has the hammock gear. What is it? The incubator? The hammock gear incubator for his underquilt. He has a. What are you using for your? You're using a sleeping bag, right?
No, it's like a salsa something. I mean, it's like an REI brand thing.
So he's got a sleeping bag in there. He has Cuban fiber for his tarp. I'm not gonna kid you. The Enlightened equipment underquilt that I have versus the hammock gear. So this is just probably preference since I've always had that one. I think the Enlightened equipment is much easier to set up than the hammock gear. I thought there's a lot of maneuvering around and working out however those shot cords are set out on that hammock gear. I mean, it looks like it should be relatively similar, but for whatever reason, I can't get his to set up the same way as if I was hanging in it. I would want it for my personal preference, but. And then I gotta tell you, he brought prime tender jerky, and that has been a oh boy.
What about the bacon?
The bacon's good, but that prom tender, I don't know that I've had that before. That's really good jerky. So I think I'm going to run down and get another bag of water. We have a scout troop down below us. So I imagine that it's going to be a pretty noisy evening until, well, probably till 11 or 12. So the good news is that I have my headset, so I'll be watching a movie, so I doubt I hear anything. Yep, that'll be nice. And just like that, I think the rain's coming. Day number 2. So it was a pretty loud night last night. The Boy Scout troop that was down over the ridge was probably up until 11, hooting and hollering, and then they were back up around, probably around 6 o'clock or so. But just the same, I had a wonderful night's sleep. Acorns were popping down like crazy, so it was like a little minefield. The acorns kept landing on the, when they hit the plastic, it was a loud, it was a really loud smack on the ground. I know Jamie was up a couple different times last night. I saw light coming from his hammock. I think he's still over there asleep. Still very much asleep. So I'll wake him up here in a little bit and we'll get packed up and start our truck out. I think we have right around 2 miles today. We're going to, I think it's South Mountain Inn, and that's our end destination for our very short 7-8 mile hike on the Appalachian Trail. And it's been nice. Alright, we're on the move. So I would say that
You've got a little pep in this stuff this morning.
yeah, Jamie's definitely got a little pep in his stuff. I think that, let's see, probably 20 people with the Boy Scouts. One shelter had 2 people in it. Another shelter had, looked like about a dozen. A group of 2 dogs coming in behind us. 2 people, other 2 people behind. I'd venture to say that we've seen 60, 70 people on this trip. So, it's very similar to Dolly Sides. But the camp, I'd say the sleep was good. The company was great. Dinner was fantastic. What do you got to say?
Oh, you know, lasagna's always awesome. That was the dinner. It's been a good trip. Lets me know what well, how just out of shape I really am.
Oh, that's all right. It's all good. It's all about having fun.
That's the goal.
Hey, having fun, right?
Yep.
That's what's important.
Yes.
So I believe we have 2 miles to get to the, I think it's South Mountain Inn, I think is what it's called. So a 2 mile hike out. And it should be straightforward, so maybe we'll get a little bit more video before we come out. If not, I'll definitely take some shots of the inn. Alright, we're moving along. It looks like a clearing out here. I see some power lines. God love the East Coast. Power's everywhere. there's a plane over us. I don't know if you can hear that, but the power lines are also buzzing. You gotta wonder when they talk about all those reports on what power lines do to people. You gotta wonder, right? Anyway, nice little clearing before we head right back into the woods again. So far, this is mostly downhill, a little uphill, mostly downhill. James, how you feeling with it?
Better than all that uphill yesterday. But that's because I'm a wimp.
Ah, you're good. Alright, so we've just come off the trail. And we come up to another monument. So, the Maryland Campaign of 1862. And then it looks like the Lost Orders. So it looks like these Lost Orders are General Lee. Sent out for his attack on Harper's Ferry, or his operation on Harper's Ferry. So the Battle of the Four Foxes Gap. And the death of two generals, so Samuel Garland and Jesse Reno. So historic Wises Field. So it looks all like all of this was a battle on the ground. So this monument marks the spot where General Jesse Lee Bang commanding an army. This is where he fell. So a lot of history through here. So we're coming out of the 18 trail now, and we're at Old South Mountain Inn. Old South Mountain Inn. Looks like a nice little place. So there must have been a lot of battles that happened through here. So James taking a little break. We're waiting for our pickup. So the 19th century backpacker. Bet you they carried a lot more weight than what I'm carrying. And Battle of the South Mountain. Antietam. Washington Monument State Park is across the road. So this road I'm on is very busy. Oh, so the same thing that was at the other site, the Maryland campaign of 1862, and then the lost orders. Now, if I remember from my history class, I think General Hooker, I think that's where Hookers got their name, their modern name from. Somebody have to double check this one, but if I remember, General Hooker and his team of lavishing young men would come through areas and spice up the women, if you will. So the ladies of the night, I think, is how they were known in the before that, and then they kind of took on the term hookers because they were hookers girls is what they were, and I think that's where the term hooker originated from. But could be an old wives' tale, but I swear to God, when I was in history class when I was a kid, that's what one of our teachers said. So I'm not sure what that chapel is, but it's a nice place. I mean, nice little monument. So this is going to wrap up our hike on the AT trail up by Boonsboro, Burkittsville, Gathland State Park.
Wherever Old South Mountain Inn is.
Yep, so we did, I'm guessing, I don't know, 7 miles maybe on the AT trail. So nice campsite over on the Rock Run, I think is where we stayed last night, shelter.
The White Rock.
No,
it was
Rock Run, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so Jamie, what'd you think?
Oh, it was a good time.
First trip out?
No, I've done
First backpacking trip out.
First backpacking trip that I completed.
How you feel about it?
That I completed. It was good. It was good exercise.
Who cares about the exercise? You have fun.
I did have fun.
Right, how'd you like your hammock?
Oh, the hammock was awesome. It was well worth the money.
And you have
the Cuban fiber tarp. We didn't use it, but
thankfully
we didn't have to use it, but because I forgot my tent stakes.
I would have had enough to get us both.
Yeah. But no, I did realize, I got to reduce weight significantly.
Absolutely.
Because it was
the sleeping bag is just way too much. Even though it's a lightweight one, it's not light enough.
Yeah.
I need like a top quilt or something like that. So,
Yeah, there's some things that you can
we
drop.
learn. You know, you learn a lot. You know,
Every time you go out.
Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean that you're going to listen to them. You know.
Absolutely.
Because we're humans. You know, we have to find it for ourselves how bad it really was.
That's right. Live and learn. All right. Well, that's it. We're going to wrap this up and call her a day.